Yeah.
I would play.
Elsie was saying that she really enjoyed the,
Yeah.
It was
raised-
born Salina, but she was not Salina, what am I
No, I
talking
think
about?
down near Wichita.
Her parents were from here, right?
And they moved to Hawaii, that's where she grew up.
Supposedly. But
Yeah,
Washington.
yeah, they were
Yeah,
probably
most
from
are like in
Afghanistan.
Washington.
Yeah, we better watch that. Yeah, we better watch that.
Well,
It's
his mother
paper.
was born in Kansas.
Right, Washington State.
We're just saying there's lots of
Yeah.
silly things going on. We're saying
We'll get
Elsie was saying that the leading Kansas, the Carl manager one, that was one that she enjoyed. I mean, that's the inferiority complex one, I think, that he's talking about. What is it about that one that you?
That I like.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he hit the nail on the head just pretty well. You know, we tend to be on the defensive and to apologize. And we have to let people know, Kansas City, Kansas, you know, because they lump us in with Missouri as if we didn't exist at all.
That's true.
And
Right.
I can remember as a kid when we would take the bus and the streetcar over to Kansas City, Missouri. Oh, that was
that's
a good
good.
time, you know.
I
And
did that
go
as a
to
kid,
Wolferman's balcony, wow. But we always enjoyed going to Kansas City, Missouri. But we were darn glad we lived in Kansas City, Kansas.
Why?
And when you read their
Yeah.
school problems as a for instance,
Okay.
as well as the mayoral problems as a for instance, I think we look pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I remember-
And our people like each other, I think, basically, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was traveling once and somebody asked me where I was from. I said Kansas City. He said, oh, and I know that's in Missouri. I learned that. And I said, well.
What?
Yeah, yes, but that's not where I live. He was so proud of himself because he thought he knew a fact about Kansas City.
I couldn't figure it out when I moved here. I thought it was one city and 2 states. And then I thought Kansas City, Missouri was really far away, and then one day I looked over and I saw all the buildings so close, and I thought, what are you doing? It's right over there.
I always think of what people have a view of Kansas is from things like the Kansas Board of Education, creationism and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Yeah,
got a lot of
that's
national
embarrassing.
press.
That is,
That's
that's something to
embarrassing.
apologize
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, Brown versus the Board of Education.
But I
That's
think
pretty
it's
good.
Yes.
Yes.
But I think
Yeah.
for a lot of progressive things that have happened here, I think a lot of the nation still views us as being rather podunk. I mean, you know.
I do too.
I mean,
Well,
I-
that.
Well, I had no
Board of
idea
Education
the
thing.
Manager Foundation was in Kansas.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're really
They
talking
were
up in all
cutting
the
edge.
books, but they don't mention where this guy's from or where it's at. It's in Kansas.
I think in the introduction to that one. the
Here
introduction,
it does,
he
but nowhere
not
in my
the-
life, because I saw this manager name ever since I was, went to college.
That's
and
Carl Manager's
all that
son
help.
who wrote
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Mhm.
All the
What is that famous for?
psychotherapy and
The manager. I know.
Psychiatric.
manager
okay.
My
foundation,
father
yeah.
was there.
Big on, yeah.
Psychiatric
Yeah.
and psychoanalysis.
Wow.
Psych 101. I mean, I heard all about Manager, but I had no idea it was in Kansas.
That's why.
Really?
No idea.
Huh.
They talk about this guy, but not where he's from or anything.
A year or so ago, I went to a play called Quindaro.
I heard about that.
Hey, it was good. And once again, it was a forerunner. I mean, it was a wonderful thing that these people were doing. There was equality.
Have
And
you ever
there
been to
was
the
no
ruins?
racism.
I want to go.
Quindaro
And
ruins.
There's a guy-
since I've been back from Arkansas, I've gone to several neighborhood festivals and luncheons and things. There's a lot of pride. I've always thought in a snobbish way that, my God, to live in Armourdale would just be the jumping off place to God knows what. And I went to the neighborhood association, the St. Patrick's Day thing a year ago.
Uh-huh.
I mean, those people did it right. They like where they are. They're very proud, and they give a scholarship, if you will. They do. And it was just really an eye-opener, you know. When my family came here from Illinois, it was right about the time of the floods.
I was just gonna say, we in Rosedale always felt superior to people in Armourdale because we were up on Mount Marty and we were not flooded.
Well,
Mount Marty, that's where Rosedale High School.
Now these
was a flood
floods,
coming, and she
Off the
said to my
Southwest Boulevard.
grandfather, Hathaway, I expect you to move us to higher ground. And that was the end of our lives.
so these
So you
floods
probably moved to Rosedale.
came in the late 1800s. Those floods?
No, 1951.
1951.
Oh, those,
51 flood.
flooded 2 or 3 times.
It's flooded a few times, yeah. Well, and I had just, not too long ago, read a book called The Worst Hard Times, and it was about the life in the Dust Bowl, the people who didn't leave. And it's a long and kind of tedious one too, but it's very interesting. And it talks about kind of almost the four corners of, you know, like Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and what would that be, Colorado, I guess. Down in that area was kind of the hardest hit area, but
Really
it went
bad,
out all, you know, clear up to Nebraska and all. In some of the counties, they were talking about some of these things and the people, and that was so interesting too because of the devastation during that time. And when I first started reading this early on, I kept thinking they're talking about, you know, the dirty 30s. I thought, no, wait a minute, he wrote this in 1920. He's talking about things another time before this. And, and they had such prosperity in the early 20th century, and the weather had been so good that they just kept plowing more land, and then when the next drought hit in the 30s, it just blew away.
I have something to say about drought and you guys in Kansas.
She's
When
not
I-
one of us yet.
When I moved here, you guys were in a drought. That meant it rained twice a week. And,
Well, the drought of the 30s was a little different. It didn't rain for years except
well,
for.
that's where I came from. It didn't rain all summer, every summer, you know. And I thought, wow, drought and it still rains.
Yeah, we do.
The other thing was
have
not
that
having
feeling.
to water my lawn, you know, or water my flowers. You know, in Utah, you just water all summer long, it's 100 degrees, it's dry, no humidity, and nothing.
So this looks good.
Real good. I love the grass. I never saw so many different kinds of grass in my whole life as you guys have.
I couldn't live somewhere where it's not green.
I still think the Wizard of Oz lives down the road. I love that. That was my
Well, see,
favorite.
that's the biggest image of Kansas.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you get a movie made about you, what do you
But,
want? you
but
know?
like they point out in here, it's like that, the Kansas is in black and white. Oz is colorful. and
Yeah,
wonderful.
When it was first made,
This
yes.
is the closest thing to Oz, so, right here.
But that's all part of the whole
Myth.
problem, the myth, the inferiority complex. The Kansans didn't like what the Wizard of Oz said, and they didn't like Curry's art. They stopped him. He never even signed those beautiful things out in the Capitol because they stopped him because he was saying that Kansas was John Brown and the Wizard of Oz
What
was
does
saying
Kansas
that
want to
everybody.
be?
Yeah,
Well, that's it. What is it?
Yeah,
what
the
is it going
people
to be?
around here, when I talk up the Wizard of Oz, they don't like it.
No.
Oh, I
that's
love the
apparently
Wizard
a-
Oh, everybody dresses up like
Yeah,
Dorothy on Halloween.
exactly.
I think that's taking
Good.
a tad
No,
far.
they're the only.
Well, what they don't like is, what I gather, is they don't like the idea that the farmers are seen as drab. Well, we're saying
But-
it's the puritanical work ethic. The movie makes them appear
Where did
drab.
Dorothy want to go?
She wanted to go.
Back home.
Oh,
Exactly.
See?
She was in the Oz, and she wanted to go
Go
back
home.
to Kansas.
I just showed that to my grandson a couple of weeks ago, because I said, you must see this movie if you're gonna live here. Have you seen it, Cora?
What?
The Wizard of Oz? Okay.
What do you think of it?
It's kind of part of the culture, you have to see
It
it.
is. I don't, this is a really
didn't
kind of a
like it.
famous book that, I don't know if you're familiar with Sod and Stubble
Mm.
by John Ice. And first, it's about story of a Kansas homestead, but you know, to me, that title says it all. For what Kansas is.
Sod and stubble.
Sod and stubble.
Well, the
But-
little house on the Prairie Brooks in my Antonia.
But this one is really
Fun
I
house.
love Little House on the Prairie.
I thought Little House on the Prairie was written about Minnesota.
There's different places. That was on the
Some of
Kansas
it.
Prairie at one time, and some other places sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, but they were here.
Well,
They were in
her
Kansas.
dad always moved and every time
Oh.
he could see it.
Has
Yeah, Little
anybody
House
ever
on
been to the
Prairie.
Little House Museum
I would
thing
love to
here in
go.
Kansas?
Oh, Where's it at?
Where is it?
I would love to go.
I'm trying to remember.
Where'd
I
you?
love
Okay,
being
we'll
little
have to
when
look
I was
it
a
up.
kid.
Like that.
So what period was this one written about?
This was written in the
The
1880s.
pioneers?
It was written in the 1880s?
18.
Yeah, but not about, but not
When
really
was
about
it
it, but
published?
in there, yeah.
When was it actually written?
Oh, it was actually written a long time ago too. but
Oh,
not
okay,
that long.
that's why I was misunderstanding.
Well, didn't a lot
like,
of
whoa,
pioneers
36.
go
Oh,
through here to
36.
get to the far west?
Well,
Yeah.
the Santa Fe
Well, some
Trail
of them
and
broke
Oregon
down, and
Trail,
that's why
right?
they're here.
You're in their wagon rides.
Uh-huh.
They don't want, they just got
I
stuck.
think a lot of people just decided this is where I wanna
Well,
go.
they were
This is
tired.
hard.
Life
They
was
were
too
heading to
hard.
California or
Uh-huh.
something, yeah.
A couple weeks ago on Saturday, I went to the Strawberry Hill Museum.
Oh,
And, golly, you could spend a lot of time there.
it's very interesting.
And so interesting. I
Where's,
mean,
is that here?
so
Just right over,
On
40
43.
blocks over.
To go.
Well,
Yeah.
it was closed all the month of February.
Mm.
So they take down the
were taking
Christmas.
down Christmas.
It's good to go in December.